Ever feel like your mind is constantly buzzing, like you're scrolling more than you're actually living? What if the real problem isn't you? It's the digital overload quietly draining your focus, your clarity, and even your happiness. Imagine taking back control of your attention without quitting tech altogether. That's where digital minimalism steps in. Intro. We live in a world where the average person checks their phone hundreds of times a day, where notifications fight for your attention every waking moment, and where silence feels almost unnatural. But here's the twist. Technology isn't the enemy. The unintentional way we use it is. Digital minimalism is the antidote. It's not about deleting every app or going off-grid. It's about intentionally designing your digital life so it serves you instead of stealing from you. In this video, we're going to break down the mindset, the strategies, and the practical steps that help you reclaim your focus, rebuild your attention span, and rediscover the mental clarity you didn't even realize you'd lost. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Living in the age of endless noise. We're living in a time where silence has become rare, almost foreign. The moment you wake up, the digital world greets you before anything else does. A buzzing phone, a glowing screen, a flood of notifications that somehow feel urgent even before you've opened your eyes. It's not that you choose to start your day in chaos. It's that chaos has been engineered to reach you first. And slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, this constant noise reshapes the way your mind works. You used to have long stretches of uninterrupted thought. Now, you tap your screen without thinking. You switch apps without noticing. You check your phone, not because something happened, but because maybe something happened. It's subtle, but it's powerful. This is the age of endless noise, where attention has become the most valuable currency, and every platform, app, and algorithm is designed to take as much of it from you as possible. Not because they're malicious, but because that's how they survive. Your focus is their revenue. Your time becomes their business model. And in this reality, digital minimalism isn't just a lifestyle choice. It's a survival skill. To understand why, we have to face something uncomfortable. The digital world wasn't built for your well-being. It was built for your engagement. That's why everything feels addictive, urgent, and fast. The platforms you use are carefully crafted environments, filled with triggers, cues, and small psychological hooks, designed to keep you looping, scrolling, and tapping longer than you intended to. But here's the deeper truth most people never realize. Your mind wasn't designed to handle 24/7 stimulation. Your brain thrives in space. It sharpens in silence. It flourishes in intentionality. Yet the modern digital environment eliminates all three. The result? A constant sense of mental restlessness. You're busy, but not productive. Connected, but not present. Stimulated, but not fulfilled. And over time, this drains your focus, your creativity, your peace, and your clarity, quietly, almost unnoticeably. Digital minimalism steps in as the antidote to this quiet decay. It challenges the idea that you need to be always on to be effective. It helps you separate what serves you from what steals from you. And it gives you permission, real permission, to take your attention back from systems designed to fragment it. This chapter sets the stage for the journey ahead, understanding the digital noise that surrounds you, how it shapes your mind, and why the path to reclaiming your focus begins not with deleting apps, but with awareness. Because once you truly see the hidden cost of constant connection, you can begin the process of rebuilding your digital life. Not around distraction, but around purpose. Chapter 2. How your attention is being hijacked without you noticing. Before we can fix our relationship with technology, we have to understand something that most people never see. Your attention is not just being distracted, it's being engineered away from you. And it happens so subtly, so seamlessly, that most of us never realize it until we're already caught in the cycle. Think about the way you use your phone. You don't consciously decide to open half the apps you tap. Your muscle memory does it for you. You don't choose to scroll for 20 minutes. The algorithm nudges you into doing it. You don't decide to check notifications every few minutes. Your brain has been trained, literally conditioned, to crave the tiny burst of dopamine that comes with each red icon or buzz. This isn't an accident. It's the result of billions of dollars invested into understanding how to capture, keep, and manipulate your attention. And here's the part that hits the hardest. Your attention is the product. Your focus is the marketplace. And your time is the currency being traded. Asterisk, asterisk. Apps aren't designed for your convenience. They're designed to keep you engaged. Notifications aren't designed to keep you informed. They're designed to pull you back in. Social platforms aren't designed to connect you. They're designed to keep you scrolling. Let's break down how this hijacking actually works, because once you understand these mechanisms, you'll never look at your digital habits the same way again. 1. The dopamine loop, the brain's favorite trap. Every time you see a notification, get a message, receive a like, or discover something new while scrolling, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine. Not enough to make you euphoric, just enough to keep you coming back for more. Apps are deliberately engineered to exploit this neurological reward system. Unpredictable notifications, endless scrolling, variable rewards, algorithmic feeds that adapt to your tastes, infinite loops like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. This isn't just distraction. This is behavioral conditioning, the same mechanism used in casinos. But here's the twist. Your brain builds habits based on rewards, not intentions. So even if you plan to stop after 5 minutes, your brain pushes you to continue. The loop has already been formed. 2. The attention debt you don't realize you're owing. Every time you switch tasks, from texting to scrolling to checking notifications, your brain has to reset itself. That reset takes time. This is called attention residue. Even a tiny digital interruption leaves a mental smudge on your focus. The average person switches tasks hundreds of times per day without noticing. Each switch drains a little more mental energy. Each interruption leaves more residue. Each notification pulls you out of deep thought. You end the day mentally exhausted, but with very little meaningful work done. This is attention debt. And like any debt, it compounds silently until the mental cost becomes overwhelming. 3. The illusion of control. Here's the most dangerous lie in the digital world. I can stop anytime I want. Most people believe they're in control of their digital habits until they try to pull away. They delete apps, then reinstall them. They say they'll check their phones less, then grab it without thinking. They turn off notifications, then feel uncomfortable in the silence. Why? Because the loss of stimulation feels like withdrawal. Your brain has become accustomed to digital noise. Silence feels wrong. Stillness feels uncomfortable. Boredom, a state that used to fuel creativity, now feels unbearable. You've been conditioned to crave stimulation at all times. And that's exactly how the digital ecosystem wants it. The more your brain needs stimulation, the more time you'll spend online. The more time you spend online, the more revenue you generate. Your distraction isn't a flaw. It's a profitable business model. 4. The algorithmic mirror. How your phone knows you better than you do. Every scroll, every pause, every tap, every hesitation, your phone is tracking it. Not to judge you, not to help you, but to learn you. Algorithms know what makes you curious, what makes you angry, what makes you stay longer, what makes you click, what makes you emotionally react, what you avoid, what you secretly enjoy, when you're bored, when you're vulnerable, when you're lonely, when you're more likely to scroll longer. And then, it feeds you more of that exact content. You end up in a personalized loop made specifically for your psychological profile. This is not random. This is precision influence. And it keeps you hooked. 5. The slow erosion of deep focus. Deep focus used to be normal. Now it's rare, because deep focus requires uninterrupted time, mental stillness, space for thought, freedom from external stimuli, the ability to stay with one task. But the digital environment provides none of these. You're being trained for shorter attention spans, constant scanning, instant responses, rapid switching, surface-level engagement. Your brain adapts to whatever environment it's exposed to. And right now, your environment is one giant attention fracture machine. This is the silent cost of the digital age. You lose the capacity for deep, meaningful, sustained thought. And with that, creativity weakens, clarity fades, insights disappear, and productivity collapses. The start of liberation. This chapter isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to reveal the invisible influence shaping your mind. Because once you see the mechanics, you can't unsee them. You begin to question why you reach for your phone, why you open certain apps, why time disappears without you remembering how, why your focus feels weaker than it used to. Awareness breaks the spell. And now that you understand how your attention is being hijacked, Chapter 3 will show you the first steps to reclaiming it. Not through restriction, but through intentional redesign of your digital environment. Chapter 3. The mental cost of constant connectivity. We live in a world where being reachable 24/7 is considered normal, even admirable. People wear their responsiveness like a badge of honor. I reply instantly. I'm always online. I never miss a notification. But beneath this constant connectivity lies a hidden cost that most people never calculate. And it's not just about distraction. It's about what your brain loses every time you stay plugged in without boundaries. If Chapter 2 exposed how your attention is being hijacked, Chapter 3 explores what that theft is doing to your mind. Because the truth is harsh. Your brain was never designed for this level of digital intensity. And yet, here we are, trying to function in an environment that overloads the very system we rely on for clarity, creativity, decision-making, and emotional stability. Let's break down the invisible psychological toll of constant connectivity. 1. The collapse of mental space. There was a time when your mind had breathing room, moments of stillness, pauses between activities, time to reflect or process. Now, your brain is in continuous input mode. Every spare second gets filled with notifications, messages, updates, videos, recommendations, endless scrolling. Most people today can't even sit still for 30 seconds without instinctively reaching for a screen. But here's the danger. When your mind is always consuming, it loses the ability to create. Creativity lives in quiet moments. Clarity comes from mental spaciousness. Good ideas emerge from empty margins of the day. Constant connectivity wipes those margins away. Your brain has no room to breathe, no space to think, no silence to reflect. It's like trying to grow flowers in soil that's constantly being trampled. 2. The rise of cognitive fatigue. People often wonder why they feel tired even when they haven't done hard work. This fatigue isn't physical, it's cognitive. Every notification your brain processes, every decision about whether to respond, every distraction you resist or succumb to, drains mental energy. Your brain's decision-making system, your prefrontal cortex, has a limited fuel tank each day. Constant connectivity burns through that fuel faster than anything else. This is why you can spend hours doing nothing on your phone and still feel exhausted. Digital overstimulation mimics the effects of mental overwork. And the worst part? You don't even notice it happening. 3. The anxiety loop of always being available. The more accessible you are, the more anxious you become. You check your phone because you fear missing something. You check again because you might have missed something last time. You check again because someone might be expecting a response. You check again because you're bored. And suddenly, checking isn't a choice, it's a reflex. You become tethered to the expectation of instant responsiveness. This creates low-level anxiety, constant anticipation, over-alertness, emotional tension, Your nervous system stays in a light form of fight or flight because you're always awaiting the next digital hit. This is why people jump at every vibration. It's why ghost vibrations feel real. It's why notifications trigger emotional spikes. Your brain starts associating your phone with urgency, not convenience. 4. The disappearance of deep relationships. Here's a painful truth. Being constantly connected makes your relationships more shallow. Not because you don't care, but because presence becomes fragmented. You're with someone, but your phone is too. You're talking, but you're also half watching your notifications. You're listening, but your mind is flickering between screens. It's impossible to build deep connection while your attention is split. People feel it, you feel it, and slowly distance forms. The digital world offers infinite connection, but zero depth by default. The quality of your relationships quietly declines, one interrupted moment at a time. 5. The death of boredom, and why that's a problem. Most people view boredom as an inconvenience, but boredom is a biological signal. It's the brain's way of telling you, it's time to reflect, it's time to think, it's time to imagine, it's time to process. Boredom was once the birthplace of ideas. Now it's a trigger for instant stimulation. The moment boredom appears, you open your phone, you swipe, you scroll, you check, you consume. You cut off the natural cycle of introspection before it even begins. Without boredom, the mind has no chance to wander, and wandering is where insights emerge. Digital minimalism isn't about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming boredom as a tool for clarity instead of eliminating it with distraction. 6. The loss of autonomy over your time. When you're constantly connected, your time stops belonging to you. You don't choose when you work, your notifications do. You don't choose when you rest, the algorithm decides. You don't choose what you focus on, your phone directs you. Each buzz, beep, or banner steals a moment you never chose to give away. Over time, these moments add up to hours, then days, then months of stolen attention. This is the psychological cost that almost nobody sees until it's too late. You slowly lose ownership of your time. Digital minimalism is about taking that ownership back. The awakening. Chapter 3 is the moment you face the truth. Your mind is overstimulated. Your focus is fragmented. Your emotional state is subtly hijacked. Your time is slipping away in micro moments. Your relationships are losing depth. Your creativity is suffocating under constant input. And none of this is because you're weak or bad with phones. You're operating in a digital environment designed to overwhelm the mind. But awareness is the first step toward liberation. Chapter 4. The high cost of constant connectivity. There's a strange thing about being always connected. Most of us asked for it. We wanted faster messaging, instant updates, real-time everything. But somewhere along the way, that convenience turned into an invisible chain, subtle, quiet, but heavy enough to pull your attention away from the things that actually matter. This chapter digs into the hidden price tag of constant connectivity. Not the financial cost, but the cost to your mind, your habits, your relationships, and even your own sense of identity. The noise that never stops. The modern digital world doesn't have an off switch. Notifications hit you like tiny taps on the shoulder. Check me, open me, don't miss this, look now. Even if you don't respond, your mind registers the interruption. And each interruption slices into your ability to focus just a little more. Constant connectivity turns your days into a series of micro-distractions. Your brain becomes trained not to stay, but to jump app to app, thought to thought, tab to tab. And over time, this jumping becomes the default mode of thinking. The cost. You slowly lose the ability to sustain deep work, deep conversations, and even deep rest. When everything is urgent, nothing is. It's wild how a tiny red badge on an app can make your brain feel like there's an emergency. Messages that could wait suddenly feel like they can't. A notification becomes a demand. A reply becomes a responsibility. Your brain begins to equate availability with importance. But here's the catch. Not everything that wants your attention deserves it. In a constantly connected world, you start to spend your hours reacting instead of choosing. Days slip into autopilot because the digital world is always faster at deciding what to show you than you are at deciding what you actually want. The erosion of solitude is a type of quiet you can't feel with a phone next to you, even when it's face down, even when it's on silent. Just its presence in your space makes your mind lean toward the possibility of interruption. Solitude, real solitude, is the foundation of clarity, creativity, and self-awareness. But constant connectivity chips away at that foundation by inserting noise into every empty moment. Waiting in line? Scroll. Long walk. Music plus notifications. Bored for 5 seconds? Quick check. Your brain never gets to breathe. And when your mind is always occupied, you lose the ability to listen to your own thoughts. Relationships get the leftovers. Constant connection creates the illusion that you're more available to everyone, except the people right in front of you. You're physically present, but mentally split. Conversations lose depth. Family time becomes half attention. Friendships become a mix of full presence and digital distraction. People feel the difference, even if they don't say it out loud. And the saddest part? It's not that you care less. It's that your attention is being siphoned off in 100 tiny directions by design. The myth of multitasking. Here's some straight truth. Multitasking isn't real focus. It's constant task switching dressed up as productivity. Every time you switch from what you're doing to check something online, your brain pays a toll. It needs time to reset, refocus, and restabilize. When this happens dozens or hundreds of times a day, your mental energy drains much faster than it should. This is why even on days when you did a lot, you end the day feeling oddly tired, scattered, or unaccomplished. Reclaiming your mental bandwidth. Constant connectivity isn't evil, it's just unbalanced. To reclaim your bandwidth, you don't need to become a digital hermit. You simply need to become intentional. Start by adding friction to what drains your attention and reducing friction around what actually matters. Create small pockets of disconnection. Relearn how to pause. Relearn how to be bored. Relearn how to choose your focus instead of handing it away. Because the real cost of constant connectivity is that it quietly takes ownership of your attention. The goal of digital minimalism is simple. Take it back. Chapter 5. Rebuilding your attention from the ground up. Attention isn't something you get back overnight. It's something you rebuild slowly, deliberately, brick by brick, just like any other muscle that's gone and used for too long. By this point in your journey, you've seen how digital noise steals your focus in small but powerful ways. Now it's time to flip the script. This chapter is about reclaiming your attention, not through force or guilt, but through intentional design. Because attention isn't just a skill, it's a lifestyle, the architecture of focus. Think of your attention like a house. Right now, most people have the doors wide open, notifications barging in like unexpected guests, apps pulling focus like kids running through the hallway, distractions slipping in through cracked windows. You can't live peacefully in a house like that. Rebuilding your attention begins with creating deliberate boundaries. Not walls to isolate yourself, but structure to protect your mental space. You start by asking, what truly deserves my attention? What gets access to my mind and what doesn't? What interruptions do I allow out of habit, not intention? The moment you begin to ask these questions, your attention starts shifting. It becomes something you choose, not something you surrender. The power of single tasking. We live in a world that worships multitasking, but true focus thrives on the opposite. One task, one intention, one presence at a time. Here's why. When you single task, your brain enters a deeper, more stable form of concentration called flow. Flow is where the real magic happens. Creativity expands, tasks feel smoother, and time moves differently. Single tasking trains your brain to stay instead of scatter. It teaches you the forgotten art of presence. Start small. One conversation without glancing at your screen. One study session without just quickly checking something. One walk with no audio, filling the silence. These simple acts rewire your mind to appreciate depth again, creating rituals of focus. We rarely talk about this, but focus isn't just mental, it's environmental. Your surroundings either support your attention or sabotage it. This is why building rituals matters. A ritual is a repeated action that signals your brain. It's time to concentrate now. It could be something small. Decluttering your workspace before you begin. Closing unnecessary tabs. Putting your phone in another room. Setting a timer. Making a cup of tea and sitting down with intention. These rituals become anchors, guiding your mind back to center. A ritualized environment is like a gym for your attention. You show up and your brain knows exactly what to do. The discipline of digital boundaries. This part is hard, but it's also transformative. Boundaries in the digital world aren't about deprivation. They're about clarity. You can start by introducing healthy constraints. Scheduled screen time instead of all-day grazing. Turning off non-essential notifications. Keeping your phone out of your bedroom. Allocating connection windows instead of constant availability. Designating tech-free zones, like the dinner table or study area. These aren't rules to punish yourself. They're tools to protect your mental quality of life. Every boundary creates space. Every space creates quiet. Every quiet moment strengthens your focus. Reclaiming the lost art of boredom. Boredom gets a bad reputation, but it's one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding attention. When you allow yourself to be bored, even for a moment, your brain shifts from consuming to creating. Your mind starts connecting dots, generating ideas, exploring thoughts you've been too busy to hear. Digital overload kills boredom. Digital minimalism brings it back. Try this. Sit for 5 minutes with no phone and no task. Let your thoughts wander. Notice the discomfort. That's your attention detoxing. Stay with it. This small practice increases your attention span faster than any productivity hack ever will. The gentle return to presence. The final piece of rebuilding your attention is patience. You won't suddenly wake up with monk-like focus. Some days you'll slip back into distraction, and that's okay. Presence isn't perfection, it's practice. Every moment you choose depth over noise. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone. Every time you give your mind a little more room to breathe. You are rebuilding yourself. Focus becomes easier. Quiet becomes comforting. Digital minimalism becomes natural, not forced. You become someone who owns their attention instead of reacting to whatever demands it. And that's the true victory. Not escaping the digital world, but shaping your place within it. Chapter 6. Redefining productivity in a minimalist world. We often treat productivity like a race. Go faster. Do more. Stay busy. If you're not constantly in motion, something must be wrong. At least that's what the modern digital world teaches us. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters. Digital minimalism doesn't just clear your screen. It clears your definition of success. And once you redefine productivity, your entire relationship with your digital life shifts. The myth of constant output. For years, the online world has pushed a narrative of nonstop performance. Replies must be instant, days must be filled with tasks, and free time must be optimized. But productivity built on urgency is fragile. It creates stress, burnout, and a sense of always being behind. Digital minimalism invites a quieter, more powerful mindset. It's better to focus deeply on one meaningful task than to scatter your energy across 20 shallow ones. Real productivity requires stillness, not chaos. The shift from busy to intentional. When you embrace minimalism in your digital life, something subtle but profound happens. You stop chasing tasks. You start choosing them. You no longer feel obligated to reply immediately, check constantly, or stay updated. Instead, you act with intention. What deserves my time? What aligns with my goals? What can I let go of without guilt? This shift changes everything. Suddenly, you're not trying to keep up. You're directing your own energy. You're no longer reactive, you're selective. Deep work as a superpower. In a world that rewards speed, the real advantage lies in depth. Deep work is the ability to give your full, uninterrupted attention to one high-value task. It's a skill fewer and fewer people have, which makes it incredibly powerful. Deep work doesn't happen by accident. It requires a distraction-free environment, clear intentions, protected time blocks, a mind that knows how to stay in one place. By reducing the clutter in your digital world, you make space for this rare level of focus. Deep work becomes your superpower, the thing that sets you apart. The hidden cost of multitasking. Every time you jump from app to app, task to task, your brain pays a toll. It takes seconds, sometimes minutes, to fully reset and refocus. And when this happens dozens of times a day, your productivity quietly drains away. This is why you can spend hours working, but feel like you've accomplished nothing. Minimalism removes the invisible friction. It strips away unnecessary apps, endless notifications, digital noise, invisible demands on your attention. And suddenly, your mental energy stops leaking. It flows in one direction, the direction you choose. The value of rest in a hyperactive world. One of the biggest lies in digital culture is that rest is optional. Rest is where the mind heals, recharges, and gains clarity. Digital minimalism doesn't just help you work better. It helps you rest better. Without constant pings, updates, and stimulation, your brain finally gets a chance to breathe. You sleep deeper. You think clearer. You recover faster. Rest stops feeling like a luxury. It becomes part of your productivity system. Because real productivity isn't just about output. It's about sustainability. The joy of doing less better. Minimalism isn't about restriction. It's about quality. When your digital life is intentional, your tasks become intentional too. You focus on the few things that truly matter. Real goals, real progress, real impact, not noise, not pressure, not digital clutter disguised as responsibility. You do less, but every action has weight. Every decision has clarity. Every task has purpose. This is the kind of productivity that feels good, not draining. It makes you proud, not stressed. Connected, not overwhelmed. A new definition of productive living. By the end of this chapter, here's what you begin to understand. Productivity is not measured by the number of tasks you cross off, but by the meaning behind them. Digital minimalism doesn't make you slower. It makes you sharper. It makes you intentional. It makes you efficient in a way that feels human, not mechanical. You step out of the noise and into a way of working that actually supports your goals, your peace, and your well-being. And for the first time in a long time, you feel in control again. Chapter 7. Rebuilding your focus muscle. Focus isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a muscle, one the digital world has quietly weakened over time. Every notification, every scroll, every quick dopamine hit has chipped away at your ability to stay with one thought, one task, one moment. Digital minimalism isn't just about removing distractions. It's about retraining your brain to focus again. Slowly, intentionally, powerfully. This chapter shows you how. The erosion of attention. Whether we notice it or not, our attention span has been shrinking. We become used to skimming instead of reading, jumping instead of staying, switching instead of finishing. Our brains have been conditioned to crave novelty. Every vibration, every pop-up, every red badge acts like a micro-distraction, a gentle pull away from depth. This isn't your fault. It's the design. Apps fight for your attention because attention equals profit. But while they win financially, you lose mentally. The result? You might feel scatterbrained, unfocused, easily overwhelmed, even when you're trying your hardest. That's not a lack of discipline. That's a trained pattern. And like any pattern, it can be untrained. The foundation, creating a focus-friendly environment. Before you train your mind, you train your space. A focus-friendly environment is simple. Fewer screens, cleaner digital layouts, reduced visual noise, a workspace that signals deep work mode. This isn't about aesthetics. It's about removing friction. When your environment is calm, your mind follows. Digital minimalism eliminates the triggers that cause scattered attention. The phone in your peripheral vision. The dozens of tabs open just in case. The constant temptation to check something, anything. You build a space that encourages stillness. And stillness becomes strength. Single tasking. The return of depth. Multitasking sounds efficient, but in reality, it fractures your attention. Your brain isn't doing two things at once. It's switching rapidly between tasks and losing momentum in the process. Single tasking is the opposite. It's the discipline of giving your full presence to one task at a time. At first, it feels foreign, almost uncomfortable. Your mind will wander. Your fingers will itch to check your phone. Your thoughts will drift. That's normal. But with practice, you begin to feel something rare, a deep, calm immersion in what you're doing. You slip into flow. Time stops feeling fragmented. The work becomes richer, smoother, almost meditative. Single tasking isn't slower. It's sharper, strengthening the focus muscle through micro-practice. Just like lifting weights, you start small. You don't force yourself into 2-hour deep focus blocks immediately. You build up through micro-practices. 10 minutes of uninterrupted reading. 5 minutes of deep breathing before work. 15 minutes of phone-free studying. A single task completed start to finish without checking a screen. These small wins matter. They send a message to your brain. We're practicing attention now. With each repetition, your focus muscle grows stronger. Soon, the things that once pulled you away, messages, shortcuts, distractions, lose their power. You become harder to interrupt, harder to lure away, harder to scatter. Your attention becomes your own again, building mental endurance through boredom. One of the strangest yet most powerful techniques in digital minimalism. Learn to sit with boredom again. Not every moment needs stimulation. Not every pause requires a screen. In fact, boredom is where creativity is born. It's where insight grows. It's where your mind reconnects with itself. Try this. Sit for a moment without reaching for your phone. Wait in line without scrolling. Walk without earbuds for once. These simple experiences retrain your mind to tolerate stillness and eventually to enjoy it. When you no longer fear boredom, you regain control of your attention. The calm power of intentional focus. Something incredible happens once you rebuild your focus muscle. Your mind quiets. Your thoughts sharpen. Your productivity feels less frantic and more grounded. You stop bouncing. You start flowing. This is the point where focus feels less like a struggle and more like a strength. You realize you don't need noise to feel engaged. You don't need stimulation to feel alive. Your inner world becomes enough, and that inner world is powerful. Digital minimalism doesn't just protect your attention. It restores it. It brings you back to a way of thinking that's deep, steady, and fully yours. And from that place, you don't just get more done. You live with more clarity, presence, and peace. Chapter 8. Designing a digital life that serves you. Digital minimalism isn't about deleting everything, running into the woods, and pretending technology doesn't exist. It's about designing a digital life that supports your goals instead of stealing your attention. This chapter is all about that design, not reacting to technology, but shaping it intentionally, not escaping the digital world, but mastering it. Because technology should feel like a tool in your hand, not a leash around your mind. From default use to intentional use. Most people use technology on autopilot. They unlock their phones without thinking. They open apps out of habit, not purpose. They jump between platforms because that's what they've always done. But default use is the enemy of intentional living. When you use digital tools unconsciously, you give them control. When you use them consciously, you take it back. The first step is simple. Ask yourself, every time you pick up a device, what am I here to do? Not what's new, not what's happening, not what notifications do I have. Just one purpose, one intention. If what you're about to do doesn't align with that intention, you walk away. This single habit can reclaim more time, more sanity, and more mental clarity than you expect. Curating your digital landscape. Think of your digital world as a room. Right now, that room might be filled with clutter, unused apps, endless feeds, notifications pinging for attention, subscriptions you forgot you had, tabs you never close, emails you stopped reading months ago. Imagine living in a physical room like that. You'd feel overwhelmed, suffocated, mentally scattered. Your digital space works the same way. Curating it means stripping away everything that drains attention or adds friction. Delete apps you don't use. Unfollow accounts that add noise instead of value. Unsubscribe from newsletters that no longer serve you. Disable notifications that interrupt instead of inform. Clean your home screen until it feels peaceful, not chaotic. When you reduce digital clutter, your mind becomes lighter. When your screens feel organized, your thoughts follow. You're not just cleaning your device, you're cleaning your headspace, building a system that protects your focus. A strong digital system is like a well-designed home. You know where things are, where they belong, and how they're used. This system has 3 pillars. 1. Clear boundaries. Decide when technology is allowed in your life and when it isn't. Examples: no phone during meals, no screens in the first hour of the morning, a digital sunset 1 hour before bed. Work apps don't cross into personal hours. Social media only at scheduled times. Boundaries create freedom. They protect your attention so you can use it where it matters. 2. Purpose-driven tools. Every app and platform should have a job. If it doesn't serve you, it doesn't stay. This applies to everything. Productivity apps, social platforms, browsers, entertainment apps, communication tools. When every tool has a purpose, you stop wandering aimlessly. You start using technology like a craftsman uses instruments, with clarity and intention. 3. Automated protection. Create systems that reduce temptation. Use website blockers for distracting sites. Use grayscale mode to reduce phone cravings. Keep your phone outside your workspace. Use Do Not Disturb for deep focus hours. Reduce visual stimulation on your home screen. This isn't about willpower. It's about design. A well-designed system makes good habits easy and distractions hard. Alignment. Your digital life reflecting your real life. Technology should support the person you want to become. If your real-life goals are stronger focus, more meaningful relationships, better work, more creativity, better mental health, more peaceful days, then your digital habits should align with them. Every platform you use, every app you keep, every digital routine you follow should move you closer to who you want to be. If your digital life pushes you away from that person, it doesn't deserve space. Digital minimalism becomes effortless when your tech aligns with your identity, because then using technology feels empowering, not draining. The outcome: technology as an ally, not a threat. When you intentionally design your digital life, your mind feels lighter. Your focus becomes sharper. Your days slow down. You spend more time present. You gain back hours you didn't realize you were losing. You reconnect with the world outside the screen. You stop feeling tugged by your devices. Technology becomes a choice, not a compulsion. You stop being managed by your digital tools and start managing them. You stop feeling reactive and start feeling grounded. You stop drifting and start directing. This is digital minimalism at its best. Not less technology, but better technology. Not restriction, but liberation. By designing your digital life with intention, you reclaim not just your attention, but yourself. Chapter 9. Rebuilding your attention in a world designed to steal it. If digital minimalism is the act of clearing the noise, then rebuilding your attention is the art of strengthening the signal. Because once you've decluttered your digital world, the real work begins. Retraining your mind to focus again, to hold a thought, to stay with a task, to resist the constant pull of distraction. Your attention is a muscle. And for most of us, it's been weakened by years of quick hits, fast scrolls, and endless notifications. This chapter is about taking that muscle back. Slowly, intentionally, powerfully. The modern attention problem. We live in an economy where your attention is the most valuable resource. Every app, every platform, every algorithm is optimized to keep you looking, scrolling, tapping, consuming. Not because you're weak, but because billion-dollar companies have built systems specifically engineered to hijack your focus. The result? Shorter attention spans, difficulty staying present, constant mental restlessness, feeling busy yet accomplishing little, an invisible frustration you can't quite name. Rebuilding your attention isn't just a productivity choice. It's a personal revolution, the practice of single tasking. We've been sold the lie of multitasking, but the truth is brutally simple. Your brain can only do one thing well at a time. Single tasking is the antidote, and in a noisy world, it becomes a superpower. Here's how to rebuild it. Choose one task, not 3, not 5. 1. Set a small container of time. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Remove everything that competes for your focus. Put your phone away. Close your tabs. Put your workspace in order. Commit without interruption. Even if you're tempted, even if your mind wanders, you stay. You practice staying. Every time you hold your attention a little longer, you strengthen your cognitive endurance. This is rewiring your brain from chaos to clarity. The power of deep work rituals. A ritual is a cue, a psychological signal that tells your mind, now we focus. It could be something simple, a specific chair, a specific playlist, a certain lighting setup, a breathing pattern, a cup of tea, a short walk before you begin. The ritual doesn't matter. The consistency does. When your mind begins associating that ritual with deep work, your focus shifts automatically. This is how elite performers create flow on demand. Not by waiting for motivation, but by training their minds to enter focus as a practice state. Reclaiming the quiet mind. You cannot rebuild your attention if your mind never slows down. Quiet isn't the enemy of productivity. Quiet is the foundation of it. We've lost the ability to sit, to breathe, to simply be. But rebuilding your attention requires moments of mental stillness. Here are quiet practices that support focus. 5 minutes of mindful breathing. Slow morning routines without screens. Short walks without headphones. Journaling thoughts out of your mind. Screen-free evenings. Letting yourself experience boredom again. When your mind is constantly stimulated, it becomes scattered. When you give it space, it becomes sharp. Rewiring your dopamine system. Digital distractions have trained your brain to crave quick rewards. New notifications, new messages, new feeds, new content. To rebuild attention, you need to reverse that wiring. That means choosing tasks that require effort, sitting with discomfort instead of escaping it, rewarding yourself only after focus, prioritizing long-term satisfaction over quick hits, slow dopamine, from reading, learning, building, creating, is what restores your natural ability to concentrate. Fast dopamine weakens your focus. Slow dopamine strengthens it. And the good news? Your brain adapts quickly when you make these changes intentionally. The compounding effect of focus. Rebuilding your attention isn't just about productivity. It changes how you live. With stronger attention, you think more clearly. You make better decisions. You connect more deeply. You experience more peace. You regain control of your time. You feel more grounded, less chaotic. You start finishing what you start. A focused mind is a powerful mind, a peaceful mind, a resilient mind. And in a world that is constantly trying to distract you, your ability to reclaim focus becomes a competitive advantage and a personal sanctuary. Chapter 9 is about one truth. Your attention is yours, but only if you fight for it. Chapter 10, Sustaining Digital Minimalism for Life. Digital minimalism isn't a 30-day challenge, a one-time detox, or a temporary break from your phone. It's a lifelong rhythm, a deliberate relationship with technology that evolves as your life, goals, and environment evolve. And here's the real truth. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to stay conscious. This chapter ties it all together. Think of it as your long-term roadmap. Simple principles you can carry with you, regardless of how apps evolve, how devices innovate, or what new digital temptations pop up. 1. Revisit your why. Your why is your anchor. Every digital boundary, every intentional choice, every screen time limit circles back to it. But here's the secret. Your why will shift over time. You might start digital minimalism to reduce stress. Later, your focus might become protecting your time, boosting creativity, or improving relationships. So every few months, ask yourself, why do I want to use tech intentionally right now? What matters most to me in this season? What feels out of balance? Your answers keep the lifestyle alive and relevant. 2. Accept that digital temptation never goes away. Apps will evolve. Notifications will get smarter. Algorithms will get more persuasive. Digital minimalism isn't about eliminating temptation. It's about strengthening choice. You're not trying to fight your phone. You're trying to train your awareness. Instead of being dragged by technology, you're choosing how and when it enters your life. Think of it like fitness. You don't get strong once and then stop. You maintain, refine, and adapt. 3. Build a consistent digital reset ritual. A weekly or monthly reset keeps your digital life clean, intentional, and aligned with your goals. A simple reset might include clearing your home screen, unsubscribing from unnecessary emails, reviewing which apps are draining your energy, archiving old files and tabs, reestablishing quiet hours, cleaning your notification settings, reaffirming your digital boundaries. This ritual prevents digital clutter from sneaking back into shadows. 4. Keep protecting your attention like a valuable currency. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, more than your money, more than your time. Because whatever holds your attention eventually shapes your habits, your thoughts, and your identity. Digital minimalism teaches you to ask, does this deserve my attention? Is this adding meaning or just noise? Is this something I want in my mental space? Gaining control of your attention is the gateway to gaining control of your life. 5. Reinforce high-value offline habits. This is the golden rule. The best way to reduce mindless digital use is to fill your life with better things. When your days are rich with reading, learning, conversations, hobbies, fitness, creative work, quiet time, nature, screens naturally lose their grip. You don't have to fight the urge. Your life becomes more compelling than your feed. 6. Keep technology in a supportive role. Tech should amplify your goals, not replace them. Ask yourself regularly, is this tool helping me do what I care about? Is it making my life better or just busier? Am I using this intentionally or automatically? If a tool doesn't support your values, purpose, or priorities, it doesn't deserve prime real estate in your life. 7. Let your digital minimalism grow with you. You won't always use tech the same way. Your needs will change. School, work, business, relationships, creativity, seasons of life, levels of stress. So digital minimalism shouldn't be rigid. It should be flexible and responsive. It's not a set of rules. It's a guiding philosophy. You adjust it as you grow. 8. Celebrate small wins. You don't need to delete everything, break your phone, or go live in the woods to be a digital minimalist. Celebrate progress like you ignored your phone during a task. You reduced notifications. You replaced scrolling with reading. You went a whole morning without social media. You spent a day fully present. Small wins build momentum. Momentum builds transformation. 9. Keep returning to presence. At the heart of all this is presence. Being here, right now, fully alive in your own life. No amount of scrolling can replace genuine connection, deep work, real rest, creativity, curiosity, physical experience, human emotion. Presence gives your life color and texture. Presence turns minutes into memories. Presence is the antidote to distraction. 10. Your life, your attention, your terms. Digital minimalism is ultimately about reclaiming ownership of your life. You decide how your time is spent. You decide how your tools are used. You decide what deserves space in your mind. You don't have to reject technology. You just have to choose it intentionally and live intentionally because of it. And that's the heart of digital minimalism. A life where you drive your day, not the algorithm.